Hello everyone, welcome back. I am Brian. You are Chords and Notes Nation. That's Jeff Castellucci. His wife will be joining him. We're going to be watching an interview today about his wife's hearing loss, and this is suggested by Patricia Schumann. She actually provided the link for this video for me, and after our conversation, Patricia, I decided, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and do this. Why not? I want to dive deep into voice play and Jeff, because a lot of people have been giving a lot of information about him, and I think it's, why not? Let's check this thing out. Well, those of you who are new here, we're raw, honest, and unedited at all times. It's you, it's me. You're in my living room. It's a Friday night. You came over to watch stuff with me, so let's watch, and I'll let you know what I think. Yeah, and if you guys have something that you absolutely have to have reacted to, I have no problems doing that, and I would appreciate if you check out the description box below. There are ways to do that, and anytime you can send a super thanks, that would be really appreciated, because that will absolutely go towards helping to grow the channel. But I will always be raw, honest, and unedited, and I keep moving my camera because I'm OCD like that. I really am. Okay, here we go.
Hey everybody, and welcome back. If you're new here, hello, glad to have you. My name is Jeff, and I usually make music videos. But this video is going to be a little bit different than what I've been doing lately. And as you can probably tell from the title, it's about hearing loss. Now, it's maybe not the most exciting topic, but it is something that's important to think about, especially in my line of work. And it's also something that is most likely going to affect, I'm not sure.
Both.
All of us at some point in our lives. In fact, it's affecting someone in my life right now. My wife, Kathy. Say hi, Kath.
What?
Perfect. So this is Kathy's story.
That was funny.
And we thought we'd share it with you. Now, some of you out there may already know this because I've mentioned it on occasion, but Kathy was diagnosed with profound hearing loss in both ears right after we got married in the summer of 2007. That's Kathy. Now, notice the lack of people holding up cell phone cameras in the crowd? That's because this was pre-iPhone, because I'm old. But what does it mean, though? What is pre-iPhone? Well, it was a very dark time, and we had to hide from dinosaurs a lot. No, I'm just kidding. The dinosaurs were our friends. Seriously though, what is profound hearing loss? Well, here's an example of what you would hear if you have normal hearing. So notice how everything sounds like full, and clear, and robust. Now this is what someone with Kathy's kind of hearing loss hears. It's a pretty drastic change, and as you can probably hear, the lyrics are muffled, the music is distant, the fullness of the sound is missing. It's like you're listening to your neighbor's music playing through your wall. Now, having some sort of hearing loss isn't all that unusual, and according to the good people who study this kind of thing, 1 in 8 people in the US, or about 30 million folks, have hearing loss in both ears. So if you know more than 8 people, there's a good chance that you know someone with hearing loss. But only about 2% of adults have disabling hearing loss. Kathy just happens to be in that small percentage. She's very special. Now, you're probably saying to yourself, how did this happen? She's so young and pretty and smart and wonderful. And yes, you'd be right about all of those things. But to tell the story of how we discovered Kathy's hearing loss, we've got to go back, like centuries ago. Literally. Kathy and I met in 1997 when we were both professional Christmas carolers. It's a real thing. We were both trying to make a career of singing, and there were a lot of opportunities in Orlando, where we live, for singers who can move well. so we auditioned a lot and got cast in a few things around town. One of them being the Beetlejuice Rock and Roll Graveyard Review at Universal Studios. We were so pretty. Kathy and I had started dating right around that same time. This was like in 2004 or something. Additionally to working at the theme parks, we were both performing as much as we could. I was working with voice play a lot. Kathy had a few bands she worked around town with. Long story short, we were both doing a lot of music-type performance things. Most of them were pretty ridiculous. Don't judge me. You know I look good in a bear backpack. Anyway, as part of our employment at Universal, they required us to get yearly hearing tests to make sure they weren't ruining our hearing. And mine always came back normal. Kathy's, on the other hand, did not. It was right around the same time that I noticed that Kathy always had the TV up just like a little too loud, and she always thought I was mumbling, which, in retrospect, is a huge red flag for hearing loss. If that sounds like someone you know, it sounds like you, go and get your hearing checked. By the time we stopped working at Universal in 2013, Kathy's hearing had really deteriorated. Not only that, but unknown to either of us, she was also suffering from something else, which I'll explain in a minute. Now,
Sorry, guys. Away she goes.
I love an all-inclusive resort with
It's actually rather informative right now, and I like the approach that he's taking with telling this story.
Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, you guys were musicians, you were exposed to loud music, pyrotechnics, and
That's
the
not always going to be the
agonizing
reason, though.
nightmarish hell of being a theme park performer. Of course you had some sort of hearing loss. Well, not so fast, Fasty McFasterson. After seeing hearing specialists, doctors, genetic experts, we were told that Kathy's hearing loss is degenerative. So it's not caused by any kind of environmental or external stressor. It was just always going to happen.
Yep.
And believe it or not, lots of musicians deal with hearing loss. Folks like Phil Collins, Huey Lewis, Grimes, will.i.am, Moby, and of course, Beethoven.
Yep.
Although, to be honest, Beethoven doesn't really deal with hearing loss so much anymore because, you know,
You just can't hear.
I say he dead.
shout out Beethoven. The thing that made Kathy's hearing loss so difficult to deal with was not only because she was so young, but as it turns out, she also has something called diplocusis disharmonica. Like I said, she's very special. What this means is that one ear perceives a sound normally, but the other ear hears the pitch differently, which is something that we didn't even realize existed at the time. For example, if I play a C on my pitch pipe, Kathy hears the C in one ear and some other not quite C tone in the other. It could be a B or a C sharp, who knows? So combined, it would sound like this. Gross. You can see why performing or listening to music would be confusing at least.
Yeah.
Trying to match pitch and stay in key became a real problem for her right around 2009, which is when she got her very first hearing aid. She just got one, just for the ear that was in the very worst shape, which looking back, might not have been the best decision. Why? Well, I'll let you hear it right from the source. Hi. Well, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so just to give everybody an idea of what your hearing is like without your ears in, can you take them out for a second? I'm gonna cover my mouth because you also read lips pretty well.
Yes.
So I'm gonna cover my mouth and I'm gonna talk. You see if you can hear what I'm saying.
Okay.
You ready to try?
Yeah, you want me to take them out?
Take them out. Let's see. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now?
Okay. Let's see here. I think you're just the prettiest.
I'm not getting anything.
How about, do you like to eat shampoo?
Do you like candy truffles?
I do like candy truffles. Okay, so now, let's see here. So our cat ate our goldfish.
Say it again.
Our cat 8-hour goldfish.
Yeah, it's like I'm not doing a good job. I'm in COVID world now. I'm not used to reading lips anymore because everybody's wearing masks.
Yeah. Okay, we'll put them back in. So it makes a big difference. So tell me about the experience of first getting that very first hearing aid. What was that like?
The addition of the first hearing aid was somewhat helpful, but also it threw me a little off balance. So it was not very long before I started wearing two.
You said something interesting that you felt because you just had the one. You said you felt off balance. Can you kind of explain?
There was still a loss in the other ear. And so now the one with the hearing aid was getting just an overload.
Would it be like putting an earplug in just one ear?
Yes.
And the other ear is like normal?
And not even normal, just like the other
Right.
ear was like, whoa.
Super ear.
Yeah, so your ears are getting, and your brain is getting used to all this new information that's coming in.
That's so funny that you mentioned that because I remember right after you got that first hearing aid, we were walking through a store, or maybe it was like Starbucks or something, and you're like, oh, that's weird. They're playing music in here today. And I was like, no, they play music in here every day. You're just hearing it for the first time. Huh.
So things like background music, the humming of lights, your own footsteps, just all of these things, appliances, you're hearing all of it so loud.
It's like overwhelming,
Yeah,
right?
it's very
Yeah.
overwhelming. But you just have to kind of push through it and allow yourself to adjust. It can also seriously like make your ears itch.
The hearing aids. That's so weird.
So I would always like yank them out and just
So after you got that very first hearing aid, we found through Lane's wife, Cindy, a fantastic audiologist, shout out to Scott McWilliams, who fit Kathy with a more powerful set of ears, and it like totally changed things for you.
It's important to find an audiologist who's willing to take the time to help you get the hearing aids programmed in a way that fits your specific needs.
And he's not the only one out there, like he's,
That's the thing. Find the ones that are willing to be, kind of on that journey with you. Ultimately, hearing aids have made a huge difference in my life, mostly because I can now ignore you on purpose instead of on accident.
Ouch. Like aside from the obvious benefits of being able to understand conversations and be part of the hearing world, what are some of like the downsides to technologically enhancing your hearing that people might not know about?
The world sounds tinnier. You have to remember to take them out. Anytime I get in the shower, there have been a handful of times where it's been touch and go.
Don't you think about my wife getting in the shower? One of the ones that I people like would never think about is just like hugging.
Oh yeah, the feedback. Can you hear that?
Can you hear it? You always have to have the subtitles on. I've just gotten so used to it, and now if subtitles aren't on, I feel like I'm missing some stuff. But like going to the movies would be difficult.
Yes.
Because obviously a theater isn't going to subtitle their things. They have like these subtitle glasses that they're offering.
Which I haven't tried yet.
Well, no, we haven't been to the theater, and
once again,
we have a 4-year-old and also COVID, so we don't do anything.
Right.
Because we're super boring.
I can't hear an alarm clock, and I don't sleep with my hearing aids in, so waking up in the morning, somebody has to wake me up.
Bad thunder and lightning, she has no idea. Leave us a comment and let us know. It's a thing that we've kind of struggled with. If there is an emergency, or if there's some sort of something and I'm not home, I have no idea how you'd be made aware of something like that. Like if somebody has to get a hold of you in the middle of the night or whatever, I'm sure there's solutions out there. So if you happen to know of a way to solve that problem, hit us up below.
We think we may have solved the waking up problem with a sunrise alarm clock.
Well, I still wake you up.
He still has to.
Yeah, it turns on and it starts going. I'm like, hey, turn that off.
Social gatherings or parties or anything like that, just everything is, you hear everything at the same level. So if there's music or there's a lot of people talking, it's like I hear just everybody's just a sea of sound. And so I shy away from conversation.
Right, because it's hard for you to distinguish speech from just any other kind of noise.
Yeah, even the person right in front of me that I'm trying to talk to, is just as loud as everything else in the room. It's just hard to do. We usually get in the car at the end of the night, and what do I say?
What were they talking about? So,
Give me the scoop. Like, what was so and so talking about? I have no idea.
We're partners in crime. Partners in crime. Those are a lot of the downsides to wearing hearing devices, but there are probably some upsides. Like, what are the benefits of having this technology in your ears all the time?
Once they came up with Bluetooth capability, I can now mute anything that I want.
Didn't we just see that?
Right on my phone.
Well, I don't know why you'd want to do that ever. There's nothing ever happening here that is loud. You also do this thing where you'll be on your phone, like she'll just be like doing whatever, right? And I'll be talking to her and she has no idea because the phone sends audio directly to her hearing aids without her having to wear headphones, AirPods, what have you. So like, if she doesn't tell me ahead of time that I'm watching something, I'll be having a full conversation with her and I'll be like, Kath, so are there any other additional unexpected benefits?
Well, one thing I can say just from the whole experience of hearing loss in general is that it's kind of given me a greater sort of compassion and empathy. You never know what challenges someone might be facing. It's like my disability is not visible. You can't look at me and know. Most people would not know.
Correct.
That I was dealing with that. So having that experience myself helps me to give others the benefit of the doubt. If you're an aggressive driver, though, I'm not.
Oh, yeah, get out of the way. Now, why make this video? What's the point of it all? That's actually a really great question.
Well, I just think it's a conversation that is good to have. Hearing loss is it's more common than you would think. You know, when I started to experience it, I was looking for answers or anything that would help me get through that process.
Right. So if this is a jumping off point for a larger conversation, that's awesome. Additionally, protect your hearing. If you damage your hearing, it's gone forever.
Right.
Earplugs, like little foam earplugs, they cost, I wish I had some with me, they cost like nothing. And they will literally save your hearing if you are exposed to loud sounds on a regular basis. Like I spend all day with cans on, just like working, arranging, and listening and singing. So it's just like, when I'm out, earplugs. Thank you for sharing everything. Is there anything that you'd like to say to anybody out there who might be going through something like this or just discovering their hearing loss?
Try not to give up, obviously. Anything can happen, even if it's not hearing loss. Anything that is maybe derailing your path, it's okay to give yourself some time to be sad or angry about it, and then allow yourself to get past that. Try to be open to whatever comes next.
Could be anything.
It could be anything, and you just never know. I mean, I fought it for a very long time. I tried desperately to hang on to what I was doing at the time because I felt like that was what I identified with. And after a few years of going through that whole process, I found out that it was okay on the other side because there were other skill sets that I learned. There were other things that I found were fulfilling to me that I may not have known about before if this had never happened to me. So for anyone going through anything like that, give yourself that ability to try and see what might be on the other side for you. It may be great.
Well said. I'm super proud of you.
Oh, thank you. I'm super grateful for you.
Shall we hug it out?
Boy, he's tall.
There we go. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Take care of your hearing, take care of each other, and I'll see you soon.
All right, so there we have it. And wow, what a story. And it was very informative. It was good. It was something that, I think it was, on a certain level, it was brave to come forward and be able to share it. But it clearly, it was meant to inform and help others. whatever journey that they went on, and he seems to be very educated in it, which was really, really nice to see that he went through that journey with her, as he should, as her partner, as her husband. To be able to bring this out and to explain it in a clear and concise way, to ask all of the basic questions, and give us a foundational understanding of what this is, and how many people are affected, and I'm sure behind the scenes, I'm sure there was a lot of turmoil and tension at times, as the emotions, as they were going through the emotions, as they were going through the process, to as she was losing the hearing, and then having to find the right hearing aids and the right doctors to help and all that. And I don't mean to sound like a wet blanket, but I'm sure with the success that he's had, that they had the money to get the right specialists too. And I don't think everybody has access to that. Maybe I'm speaking out of ignorance a little bit. And I'm not trying to be a downer, but that was one of the things that I was thinking about, because this is a reaction, right? Is healthcare is not cheap. It's not inexpensive. And specialists, well, even more so. So God bless them for finding the right people to help. And anytime there is a process, you're going to have some sort of support system in place. And the most important, it starts with God. And it also starts in here. And your friends and your family. I was thinking about what I wanted to say, and I don't know if this is the right video to say it, because it would take me off on a different direction. And I want to hone my thoughts just to this. So I'll contemplate about making a separate random thoughts video to kind of give you guys an idea of what I really want to say about certain things, especially when it comes with the health and faith and healing, and the miraculous things that have happened within my family. But that being said, this was a very, very, very fulfilling experience, because it brought to life this, here's a performing artist that we listen to and we enjoy so much. But he's a human being. He has a life. He has things going on behind what he does. And we oftentimes need to be reminded that the people that I don't want to say idolize, but the people that we look up to, the people that entertain us, are people, first and foremost. And they go through things just as we go through things. So good. Yeah, this was really good. The Castelluccis are pretty cool, man. I love how they have a chemistry. Certainly have a chemistry. And no doubt that this situation has brought them closer together. For sure. So, all right, thank you guys very much. I appreciate it. God bless you. Jesus loves you. I will talk to you in the next video. Oh man, it got dark. Now it got light. Did you see that? I'm pretty cool.